you ever found yourself in a situation where you came face to face with a wild animal and your heart just drops? It's a nightmare scenario that many people don't prepare for, and it can happen when you least expect it. From a man-eating bear to dingoes, to hawks, to snakes, we have so many attack stories to cover in today's video. Whilst most of us know or live with an animal, we never expect to be attacked by them. Now, do we expect to be attacked by our local wildlife? We live comfortable lives, unaware of the danger that lives just outside our homes. When we are attacked, though, the effects can be devastating. We humans aren't really known for our hard exoskeletons or our bite-proof skin. We are somewhat squishy and prone to life-altering injuries if something really bad happens. Enter Mother Nature, who gave her animals teeth and claws and venom and toxins. If an animal sees us and really tries to hurt us, sometimes all we can do is try to survive. Let's start in Texas, where a local was minding her own business, calmly gardening, when something fell from the sky and wrapped itself around her arm. What was that something? A snake, around 4.5 feet long. The woman did what most of us would have done in this situation: scream and try to shake it off. Of course, this just angered the snake that tightened its grip and struck her face. It gets crazier though, as a hawk soon swooped into her garden. Turns out the snake had been its dinner, and it wasn't taking no for an answer. The hawk grabbed the snake into its talons and flew off, scratching the woman in the process. Thankfully, the snake had managed to sink its fangs into her, and the most damage came from the hawk, and she's made a full recovery. Heading to our friends down under, in Australia, where the wildlife is both incredible but can be deadly. From sharks, to cassowaries, to crocs, to snakes, to spiders, there's a long list to choose from. Some of you history buffs might already be thinking of the Emu Wars, but that wasn't really a fair fight. Of course, the emus would win. Now, today we're talking about dingo attacks. Dingoes are a kind of ancient dog that lives in Australia. Technically, they're a domestic species, but are often feral. This means you shouldn't be going up to one with treats and a cuddle. As one jogger in Queensland found out, she had been jogging along one of the beaches when a pack attacked her, and she had to run into the water to escape them, later being airlifted to hospital. If you're ever in dingo territory, make sure to be alert of your surroundings and keep children close to you. Moving across the globe, let's head over to India, a land that often has a great respect for animals and how we interact with them, but also contains several deadly surprises. From the chuka, man-eating tiger, to the leopard of Rudraprayag and the wolves of Ashta, India has a fascinating history of animals turning on us and changing our name from human to dinner. One of these cases was the sloth bear of Mysore. A strangely aggressive sloth bear who was responsible for not one, not two, but 12 human deaths, injuring around 24 others. Usually, sloth bears are actually relatively harmless, and the explanations for its behavior are as wild as you would expect for the 1950s. From theories it was taking revenge on humanity, to others saying it had the mark of Cain from the Bible. Whatever the reason, the bear would attack people's faces, and if they survived, they were usually blinded. Those who died had their faces completely removed, and at least 3 victims had been partially eaten. It's a gruesome tale, one that ends with a lot of dead people and one dead bear. The problem with animal attacks is we can't just get rid of every animal that attacks us and expect that things will be okay. Our American friends have had to find this out a few times, especially with wolves. See, wolves are not to be messed with. They hunt in packs, and if you thought one was a problem, wait until you have 6 or 7 of them staring you down. North Americans certainly didn't enjoy that thought, and who can blame them? The solution seems simple: kill the wolves. So they did. In Yellowstone Park in the 1930s, the last wolf was killed. What happened next, nobody expected. Elk populations exploded, pushing past the limits of what the environment could take, eating all the plants other animals needed, causing beaver populations to decline. When the problem was identified, there was only one thing to be done: bring back wolves. So, from the 1990s, that's what they did, bringing wolves back to the area, fixing both the elk and beaver populations. It was so successful that when Michigan found they only had 2 wolves left in their Isle Royale National Park, they airdropped in wolves from Ontario. Our final tale comes from North America and showcases our aquatic neighbors. Sometimes, animals kept in captivity display behavior we just don't understand, and this can also lead to them being aggressive. The most well-known example of this is Shamu, the whale, also known as Tilikum, an orca who was kept at SeaWorld and would often do tricks and performances for the general public. Tilikum was known for his aggressive behavior and had killed multiple people in his time at SeaWorld. But his final kill was one of the most devastating as he pulled the trainer into the water by her ponytail and dragged her through the water. Rescuers couldn't get past the whale, and by the time they were able to pull her body from the water, her scalp had been pulled off her head, her spinal cord severed, and she had fractured ribs and a fractured jaw. Her cause of death was listed as blunt force trauma and drowning. Since this death, people have been highly critical of SeaWorld and the practice of keeping such intelligent mammals in captivity. And there you have it, some of the wildest and scariest animal attacks we humans have ever had the misfortune of dealing with. If ever there is a lesson to take away from this, maybe it's we should leave nature alone. We don't need to get a selfie with a mama bear. And we don't need to run into the viper pit to give the reptiles a big ol' hug. Sometimes the best defense is sneaking away before they can see us. If you do end up face to face with a wild animal, then hope it's one you can outrun or one you can survive. And don't be a hero. If you got bit, get help. Sometimes the biggest killer isn't the one with teeth and claws, but the toxins or bacteria killing you from the inside out. What did you think of this episode of Careless Wildlife? Do you have any real-life attack stories you're desperate to share? Let us know down in the comments. If you want to see more, like and subscribe so you never miss another video. Whilst you're here, check out our Animal Showdown video. Who would win between our 3 competitors? You'll only know by watching.